Welcome to Codex History of Video Games. I'm Mike Coletta.
And I'm Tyler Osby, and that's my best Numa Numa impression. Does anybody remember Numa Numa?
Oh, I remember Numa Numa. It was big. Yeah. Maya. It's so good. All right. Welcome to Codex. Today we got ourselves a good old-fashioned mailbag episode. Are you excited, Tyler? I can't believe we've done 19 of these. That's the crazy
that's
part.
wild.
Yeah. So we have a whole like numbering system within itself for the mailbags. But let's start with emails. Does that work for you?
Works for me.
And then we'll end on our Discord mailbag. So I'm going to say, let's go to Jordan here. There's a pretty long email here from Jordan. Okay. But what we're going to, this is the one called Hello Again. That's the one we're looking at right there. Okay. So we're going to do, I think we could just do this one. He has some other emails there, but we'll do this one and then we'll kind of go from there. So it says, good morning, guys. I know I literally just sent you guys an email. Well, that was a long time ago, Jordan. So you're totally fine. Not a problem. But I just finished the nostalgia gift episode and a top 10 list came up as another episode. So I figured I'd come up with my own top 10 list of my favorite games. And so we're just going to go down there. Okay, Tyler? We're just going to go down this list. All right. 1, Borderlands series. 2,
good choice.
Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I love Oblivion.
Great choice.
It's a great choice. 3, Destiny. You know also we love Destiny here. Not right now, but we do still, right?
Yeah, of course. Destiny will always have a special place in my heart.
Dude, let's take a little tangent time. Do you have the tangent soundboard ready?
Oh, no. Dang it.
Oh, okay, it's fine. Not a big deal. So the Deepstone Crypt raid, Tyler and I did it blind with 4 friends, and that is probably my favorite gaming memory currently. Like, it's my favorite thing.
It was so fun.
It's so good.
Doing the raids blind is so much fun.
So much fun. Yeah, 10 out of 10 for a raid blind. So we shout out to Destiny. We love it here. Okay, next up, Mech Assault Lone Wolf. I am not familiar with Mech Assault. Have you played Mech Assault?
Just a little bit, not very much, but I think that's the second one too. I want to say Lone Wolf is the second one. So that's like a deep cut of a deep cut.
I love it. Only deep cuts from Jordan. Okay. 5, Call of Duty World at War, which was good. It was a good game. Note here says it was a much simpler multiplayer and it was wonderful. So I agree that's a good solid game. You played all the Call of Duties, Tyler.
No, I haven't played them all. I'm still on the journey, but I have played World at War.
World at War is a good one. The Fear series. Yeah, I do stand by the Fear series. Jordan says, yes, they started to get worse as the games came out, but it still has a lot of fun. And it does have a lot of fun. I actually have Fear 2 and 3 that I haven't tried yet on like my Steam library. Just add that to the long list of games I've never played. And I want to try that out too. I think we could do another episode on Fear. We covered the first one. We could do 2 and 3. So then we have Age of Empires 2, a classic. Star Fox 64. I know that's something for you, Tyler, right there. You love Star Fox 64.
I sure do.
I do too. Phantom Crash, which I'm unfamiliar with.
I am also unfamiliar with it.
Oh man, we got to look that up. And then Pokemon Silver is their 10. Okay, so now there's a story from Jordan here. Now here's my story for my nostalgic gift. For Christmas when I was 7, I got the original brick like Game Boy. I got 3 games for it too. I got Killer Instinct. I'm sure if my Mormon grandparents knew what it was, I would not have gotten it 100%. Donkey Kong, the puzzle game, and Mario Land. Not sure if that was the name or not. I think it was Mario Land.
It was Mario Land, yeah.
That was the Game Boy version. We talked about that on here too, because Mario Land, solid game.
Yeah, Donkey Kong, the puzzle game, Donkey Kong 94, underrated. Very good game. Also has a bunch of sequels now. The Mario versus Donkey Kong series is just more of that.
Really? I did not know that. It's awesome. Okay. And they go on to say about Mario Land, I loved it so much. I would eventually have to give up my copy of Mario Land to a bully of mine. What? Oh no. So backstory is I had this bully who would pick on me all the time while riding the bus home. He had a Game Boy Pocket that he didn't appreciate. Me being the gamer I am, stole his Game Boy. Me thinking he didn't care about it since he didn't take care of it. I was sure he wouldn't notice it being gone. He noticed and it was missing, and his parents got in contact with my parents. Classic parent stuff. They made me give it back, and I had to give him one of my games. Not my choice. I would have given him Killer Instinct. I ended up giving him Super Mario Land. So moral of the story, don't steal. I like that, though.
That's true. Don't steal. It does seem strange to make you give a game, a whole game.
That seems a lot.
I feel like there's a better way, especially because he was a bully. Yeah, I feel like there's a better way to do that, but yeah. Hey,
But we love a good morality tale on this podcast, so that was good. I'm going to include a list of garbage games I've played in my 35, almost 36, turning 36 in 114. Bullet Witch. And then he says number 2, just Bullet Witch. I've enjoyed the aspects of certain games and found some enjoyment in the series, but Bullet Witch was so bad. Also, I will 1v1 in Destiny 2 you for besmirch Ready Player One. Oh,
Oh yeah, my Ready Player One hot take.
yeah. I love it. Also, if you want to read this with other email, oh, okay, that's totally fine. That's extra email stuff. But thank you, Jordan. Yeah, I've never played Bullet Witch. Is that going to go on like a list of games that are like the worst of all time?
I don't know. I've never even heard of it.
Let's Google it. Let's
Phantom
Google it.
Crash, Bullet Witch, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Phantom
Maybe.
Crash is a mech game. I googled it while we were.
Oh, okay.
It's an Xbox mech game. It seems like maybe sort of Steel Battalion or Mech Assault. So I'm noticing a theme here with Jordan's favorite game.
Okay, yeah. Let's look at the reception for Bullet Witch. That'll tell us. That'll give us a little bit of a sign here. Yep, I'm seeing some 1.5 out of 5s, some 4
Yikes.
out of 10s. Uh-oh. We might if we do a bad games episode, we might have to look at that. But thank you, Jordan, for the email. We appreciate it. So that's your email there. Do you want to read the email that says greetings from Texas?
Yeah.
From Shua,
Shua.
Shua as in Joshua.
The email reads, "Hi, Shua here from Texas." Shua, as in Joshua, is the pronunciation there. Frequent listener, one-time rater, 5 stars on Spotify, and first-time emailer. This might be a long email, so no worries if you choose to paraphrase it or not even read it at all. I've been working through your older episodes and haven't yet caught up to your newest one, so forgive me if any of this has been brought up before. In your episode talking about the Doom movie, you mentioned the end of it being in first-person perspective. There is a movie called Hardcore Henry that is all in first person, and it does feel like watching someone play a game. You should check it out if you've never seen it. I appreciate how you guys give a shout out to the YouTube channels you watch for research, and I have one I'd like to suggest: Noah Caldwell Gervais. It's more retrospective and editorial style commentary than research, but he's quite verbose and skilled with the words. Lastly, I've taken to using your saying, "The friend game is the end game." It's a wonderful sentiment. Keep putting out the good work. Thanks, Shua.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the friend game is the end game. I think I've seen Noah Caldwell Gervais
I think I have
videos
too.
before. Yeah, so that's a good shout out. We love shouting out YouTube channels. We're not
I think
really
Hardcore Henry was on Steam too. I want to say
really.
it was like a movie they put on Steam.
I love that. I think that's a great thing.
I
I've
never
heard of
thought.
it. I've
Yeah.
seen parts of it. Like I'd walk into a party in college and someone was watching it, that kind of thing. But I never watched the whole thing before. I'll have to check it out. Maybe that'll be a good episode for us to do because it's kind of video game adjacent, maybe, right?
Yeah.
All right.
And if it's on Steam.
This next one here is from Ben. Ben says, well, the subject line is PS1 and PS2 revisited. I was wondering if you would all do a revisit of these two consoles, specifically the games. These 2 episodes were top 10 shipped, and soon after you switched to the game timeline. I would love to hear a timeline of these 2 consoles. Thanks for getting me through the work week on my 3rd time listening from start to finish. Keep it up. Wow, that's a lot of us. It's a lot of us from 3rd time start to finish. That's not a bad idea. We kind of did. There was this weird limbo we were in after we finished Ultimate History Video Games 1, and we kind of were like trying to figure out what to do. And I think this was when we did PS1 and PS2.
And I want to say we just like picked. This was like 6 years ago now, so I don't even remember. But I think we just picked like 10 games and just talked about them. But the timeline thing would be fun to do, to like talk about like the launch games and then like what games came out along the lifespan of a console.
I would love that. There's got to be a book on PS1 and PS2, right? There has to be. There has to be. All right. That's a great email, though. Thank you so much, Ben. We appreciate it. Do you want to read Ryan's email here? This is a big reveal.
I'll read Ryan from California. Yeah. Hey, Mike and Tyler. You casually mentioned that Leroy Jenkins was fake, and I had to immediately pause the podcast and look it up. I am so bummed to learn that. I never got into WoW, but I thought it was hilarious, and I was happy to see a gaming meme get so popular in the mainstream. Anyway, thanks for shattering the illusion. Keep doing what you're doing because I love listening every week. Thanks, Ryan from California. If it makes you feel better, as I understand it, while the video that everybody has seen was staged and fake, that did actually happen. Or maybe that's like a dramatized version of it. But I think the video is based on a true story, if that makes you feel better.
That makes me feel better. I didn't know that. I mean, also, I feel like so many of us yelled Leroy Jenkins and then did that in the games we were in that we made it real.
Yeah, that's true.
That happened. So that's a thing that we're sticking to, I think. Okay. Let me go here. So we actually have a. This is like a two-part email, so I'm trying to figure out which one. This is from Reeve from Alaska. Okay. And they have an episode idea on games that never got a sequel. Love the podcast. Great work. If you had to take a console to the past. Oh, wait. Did we already read this one from Reeve? If you had to take a console to the past and show why? Did we do that
Oh,
one?
I think I want to say we did.
Okay. Because there is another email here too. So hi, Reed from Alaska. Where I live, there is a very good gaming and movie store. They even have an Atari 2600 and a whole lot of games. My dad has a PSP that is fun to play, but I only get around 20, 30 minutes at a time. Spider butts, I guess. And they have the spider and then the peach and then the gaming emoji, the little controller. You know, that's okay to get 20, 30 minutes at a time in a game. I feel like
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
And the PSP works great for that because it just turns off and you just pick it up right where you were.
Yeah, I love that there's a gaming store there though that actually displays old consoles. I think that's kind of cool. If you treat a gaming store kind of like a museum, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah.
So big fan. But all right, do you want to move on to Andre's email here?
I will read Andre's here. Hey, Tyler. Hey, Mike. It's Andre from Greenville. You know how much I love the show, and every once in a while, I like to drop an email. This specific email has to do with a question one of y'all presented a few weeks ago about the Japanese craze. I'll never forget the beginning of school in 1993 and the amazing show that changed my life forever, The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
good.
same.
Same.
If you were between the ages of 5 and 25, this show started to become your next addiction. It was about 2 months after that show came out that I realized that the show originated in Japan. And for me and my friends, that's when the Japanese craze started. I'll never forget one guy came to school with a Japanese video game magazine. And even though we couldn't read it, we saw pictures of their video games and it blew our minds. How do you think we felt when we realized we couldn't play those games here because of either hardware issues or software issues? And it was also around that time I began to notice another show called Dragon Ball Z. I would have to say it was around 1993 when my consciousness started caring about Japanese original content, such as video games, manga, and the like. Now we have the ability to play Japanese games, and sometimes we can even get a crude translation for it if we use emulation. But back in 1993, we couldn't get that. Since then, we get all types of anime, Japanese movies, and even Japanese concepts that change into American movies, such as The Ring. I would have to
Oh
say that it was
yeah.
the early 90s when Japan took this country by storm. Thanks for being such a great show, Spider Butts. Andre from Greenville.
Completely forgot that The Ring, yeah, that's totally was a Japanese movie first. Japanese horror in general was like very different as far as like genre wise what they were doing than American horror movies. I'm talking about too.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the time that we got like The Ring showing up as like freaking everybody out. That movie scared me so much. Did it
It's a
scare
scary
you?
movie.
Did you see it?
I think I did, but I don't remember it very well. Probably because it scared me too bad.
Good, good. If you don't remember it, it's too scary. That's a good thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of, that this is kind of a big regret in my nerd life. I have a confession. Never seen Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I haven't
Know
spent
of
very
it.
much time with it.
Yeah, I know of it because of like the world.
Yeah, you can't not.
Yeah, but I've never watched like it through completely, and I feel like I've missed out there a little bit.
It's pretty hard to do, I think.
It's pretty
It's
big.
pretty long.
Yeah. All right, this next one here, it says it's favorite character arcs in games. This is from Lauren. Hi, guys. Lauren here, writing from Edinburgh, Scotland. I'm originally from North Carolina, but I'm here in rainy Scotland to get a master's degree in media studies, planning to write my dissertation on video game storytelling. Lauren,
Whoa.
we would love to read that dissertation, on the podcast live. I'm just kidding. You don't need to do that. I want to focus on how games are able to tell stories in a way that other art forms like film and literature can't, through elements like gameplay, interactivity, immersion, story length, etc. I've loved listening to the pod for inspiration, ideas, and just a general good time. Thank you. I'm not sure if you've touched on this before, but I wanted to ask about your favorite character arcs in games, as in how a character changes and grows through the story, whether for better or for worse. I'm playing Final Fantasy 16 right now, and I've been really struck by Clive as a protagonist and how he develops in the context of the story. I think the supporting cast also does a great job of serving his foils to his arc. I'd love to hear Tyler's thoughts on as well as the resident Final Fantasy expert. How do you think he compares to other Final Fantasy protagonists? What video game characters come to mind for you when you think about character development? Thanks for everything, guys. Keep up the good work, Lauren. Ooh, that's a big question.
Dang, yeah. I want to play Final Fantasy 16 again because I feel like I played the whole game. I played through the story and I enjoyed it, but I don't know if I like processed it. You know what I mean? Like I was just sort of playing and not really like thinking too hard about it. Um, so any opinions I can give on Clive as a character are even though I've played the game, are like not very well thought out opinions. I thought he was fine. Like there was nothing that like made me mad about it, but I haven't thought deeply enough about it to like have a good opinion on it. But I will say that in terms of characters with good arcs, I think Tidus's arc in Final Fantasy X is pretty good actually, and you get a taste of it from the very beginning of the game because he starts it starts in media res, right? Like towards the end of the game, and he's sort of narrating the story to you, the player, and the way he sounds and speaks is so different from how he is when you like go to the beginning of the game and the beginning of the plot. Um, he's like people don't like him because he's like kind of whiny. He's like this weird sort of like sports guy that it just like rubs people the wrong way. And as a like as a character, I think that like people aren't necessarily wrong there, but I think he grows and changes. And by the end of the game, he's very different, and he's like he's having to deal with some pretty heavy stuff by the end. Um, so I just love Tidus's arc. I think Yuna's is also interesting, and then in Final Fantasy X too, they do some weird stuff with that. But also, I don't hate what they did with her in Final Fantasy X too either. And I think maybe if I thought about it some more, I would like it even more probably.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of games that I know of where it's like kind of a set story. So the first thing I thought of was Spec Ops: The Line, which
Mm.
is like, I mean, it's kind of spoilery, I guess, to talk about this. I've wanted to do an episode on this game for a while, and I thought I did. It's one of those ones where I thought I did, and I don't think I did because I'm looking at all the
We must have,
episodes we've ever done.
yeah, maybe we talked about it in a in an episode or something I
Yeah,
listened
briefly in an
to.
episode, but I could have sworn I did research for it too. But I played that game, and your character is essentially it's try to be as vague as possible, mentally going through some changes, like as you're playing the game, and it's like kind of like hallucinations and stuff like that. And so that character change when the big reveal happens is really good. But I wouldn't necessarily call it like a big arc like that. It's just kind of like unveiling what's going on with your character. I think Bioshock, we talk about a lot, but Bioshock has a good character arc to it. Um, Minerva's Den, the Bioshock DLC for 2 that everyone knows I'm obsessed with. I feel like that's a good one for this too. um, I'm trying to think of other games though where like because Mass Effect, you're kind of creating your own arc that changes
Mm-hmm.
based on the decisions you make.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, it's kind of combining that interactivity with the character arc. But I would have to take some more time. What's going to happen is we're going to stop recording, an hour is going to go by, and then I'm going to have a breakthrough and be really mad that I didn't think of that game in the moment. That's what's going to happen.
Well, you edit it back in
Just
just
right
like,
here,
hey,
I'll
Mike's here. Just jump right in.
just say something. You'll just hear random text. Do you want to read?
Sure. The title is Dead Game Titles. That's the subject, I should say. Hey guys, it's your friend of the podcast, Casino Tarantino. I've been seeing this question pop up a lot on social media, but I'm curious of your opinion. If you could choose to reboot or remake a game series or side titles that have essentially died off, including titles that aren't part of a main series, what would you choose? Personally, I would pick Mega Man Legends because personally, those are my favorites in the franchise, and I feel like they got a ton of unnecessary hate. I think everyone needs to play them again because they really were great games. Uh, that's it, and that's where the email ends.
So for me, it would be Twisted Metal. That's the first one based on last week's episode. I love it. You know, I love it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Always Snowboard Kids. That's my big reboot. I always talk about it. I don't think it's wanted by anyone but me.
I,
That's
I
really.
I mean, I would play it.
Do you think it
I
would be
love
fun to
Snowboard
have
Kids.
snowboard kids with like an online community? Like, I think it would be good. You know, make them snowboard adults now, though. You know,
Oh,
just grow the characters up.
it's just 1080 snowboarding now.
Yeah, right. Giant panda. I love that. What would you pick to be your reboot?
Reboot a game that I would like to reboot that like I could come up with a good answer to this, but I my brain is foggy today and I haven't been able to think very well. Um I'm gonna look at my wall here of games that
Look at
are
your
on the shelf.
shelf.
Look at my shelf. Uh Actually, you know what I would love is the Skate series, which I guess they are bringing back. They are making a new Skate
Oh
game.
yeah, that was
So
like
maybe that one
the
doesn't count.
realistic Tony Hawk. Well, I mean, I also said Perfect Dark when we got this question last time, and that is now in the works to be
Hmm.
remade. So I think it's okay for you to say
Quadruple A
Skate.
studio, they said.
Quadruple. Four.
Quadruple.
Four
There's four
A's
A's.
mean more fun.
Yep. That's
That's
what it
what
means.
everyone says.
You know what? Banjo Kazooie. They haven't done anything with that since
Ooh.
Nuts and Bolts, really.
Yeah.
He's in Smash Bros. Like Banjo and Kazooie are in Smash Bros. I think that's like the only thing they've done since Nuts and Bolts, which was a great game. It wasn't a good Banjo game, but it was a good game. It was fun.
All right. I'm down with that. I mean, all those 90s video game mascots are kind of like gone. Banjo Kazooie, Crash Bandicoot,
Yeah, those games got
Ratchet.
at least some good remakes.
Mm-hmm.
Crash Bandicoot and Spyro.
Well, I guess Ratchet and Clank was like 2 years, 3. When was that one? The new Ratchet and Clank game came out? Was that like that's probably like 4 years ago now, though, actually.
Uh, yeah, I think this summer it'll be 3 years because I want to say I
Mm-hmm.
think it was 2021 because it came out shortly after the PS5 came out, which was late 2020, and I think I want to say it was the next summer's when Ratchet came out. So it's been
Was
3 years.
and wasn't there a movie with that too or something?
Oh,
Was
that
it?
was with the 2016 reboot that they did
Oh
on PS4.
gosh, that's real.
Um,
Okay, so I'm going back and forth here. Okay, yeah.
yeah, that movie's bad,
Bad. You've
like
told me it's bad.
truly awful. We
Would we
should watch
watch
it.
it? Mm,
We should.
we should watch it.
It's
Okay.
like I guess I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just like a sort of a standard animated kids movie that just doesn't really like I don't know. You put it on, your kids watch it, and they leave you alone for a little while. I guess
They're
that's
probably
like the point
happy.
of that movie. Yeah,
Yeah, they're probably fine with it.
it's kind of
All right.
goofy.
So you got Banjo Kazooie, Skate, and I have Snowboard Kids and Twisted Metal.
Yeah,
I'm down with that. I'm down with that as being a thing. I'd also love a good like mech game to come back. Like mech because they kind of stopped making Mech Warriors, didn't they?
yeah. Armored Core 6
But Armored Core
just came
6
out.
came out. So that's kind of like okay, that's in the mech.
Oh yeah,
That's
you're
kind of
talking about like actually the Mech Warrior
yeah,
series.
when you're like
Yeah,
piloting it, and because the Armored Core games are arguably more of like a Dark Souls game with a armored like a
yeah.
mech twist to it, kind of right.
It's not
So
like a mech simulation the way that.
yeah,
Um, yeah. Let me see. Mech Warrior.
I want to pilot a giant robot. Is what I'm saying.
What was the last one? Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries came out in 2019. So that's not that long
Okay,
ago.
that's not that long ago then. Yeah. What about let's do some real weird deep pulls from Xbox. Blood Wake. Let's do that.
Dang, I haven't thought about Bloodwake in a long time.
Blood Wake is old. What about Pilot Wings? Because Pilot Wings has kind of been forgotten about. That was like a big thing for 64. I
Yeah,
remember Pilot Wing 64.
Pilotwings 64 was great. It got a Pilotwings Resort was a launch title, I want to say, for the 3DS.
Mm,
Which I mean, that was 14 years ago now. I think
yeah.
3DS was 2010, right?
I guess if you're a PlayStation fan, you could also say Killzone, bring Killzone back because that kind of died.
Yeah, but
I
was
never
anyone
really
doing
played
it?
those games. I don't know if they're good. Again, also like Blood Wake. Was Blood Wake really that good? Is it the problem is it worthy of being remade? Which is where I think Twisted Metal is the best contender for my side of things because I want Snowboard Kids. I don't think anyone else does.
Yeah, I think Bloodwake, if it were good enough to be redone today, it would have got a sequel back in
And
the
it
day,
yeah, it didn't
and
get
it
one
just
back in the
didn't.
day. Yeah. It's okay. I'm over it. I'm fine. I'm not sad. You're sad. Everything's fine.
Yeah, but it was one of those like Xbox exclusives that was like
Yeah.
kind of edgy and cool. It was one of those like you saw the ad for it and you're like, oh, this new Xbox thing looks really cool. And then I think the game was just sort of meh.
Yeah, because it was like a version of it was like boat Twisted Metal, really.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's why I
yeah,
loved it. All right, cool. So that's all our emails we're going through. Do you want to go ahead and tackle these Discord mailbag questions?
yeah. We got
I'm
one
so
from
ready.
Mo.
We
Mo
did.
asks, did you ever have a video game character crush? And if so, who was the first? I definitely had a crush on Aerith/Eris from FF7 back in middle school. That's Mo said that. Have you had a, what's your video game crush, Mike?
Well, my video game crush is kind of cheating because it's also a comic book crush, and that's April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Mm,
was a big crush for me. Someone though in the Discord mentioned Kerrigan from StarCraft, and they're not wrong. They're not
solid.
wrong. That I think everyone had a Kerrigan crush. Okay, that's
Yeah.
okay. What about you? Do you remember your crushes?
Uh, trying to think video game characters. I think maybe the closest I had to like a crush on a video game character was probably um, Joanna Dark, the Perfect Dark Zero. How she like how her hair is and stuff in that game. I could say I had a crush on her.
That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. I would say that's fine. Yeah. I think April O'Neil was like my big crush, but she was in like some of those early Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games, but she
Mm-hmm.
was mostly just like a comic book TV show cartoon character, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would also say I had a crush on April O'Neil. I used to watch a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day.
Because it was the best.
Yep.
Still is good. Still is great. All right.
Yep.
Next one on here, okay, is from Squirrel Mancer, which is also a great name. I say that every time. I love the name. What's your favorite weird peripheral? Parentheses, chainsaw controller, Donkey Kong bongos, etc. For an extra challenge, Wii peripherals don't count because there were so many Wii peripherals. And you're right. You shouldn't have the tennis racket from Wii, the wheel. Like
You don't need that.
mine is because I have experience with it when I played it at a PAX is the Steel Battalion controller for Xbox. It's so ridiculous. It's like a whole console that's like laid out in front of you. It's just such a cool thing. It just makes you feel cool. Like it makes you feel like you're piloting a mech and that's all you want. I think what I'm really learning is I might, when I get 10 years from now, get into flight sims or something. I don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen to me. It could happen. I like that feeling of being like, I'm piloting this thing. What about
Yeah.
you though, Tyler?
I think VR is going to make flight sim stuff. If it hasn't, I mean, it probably has already. I'm sure you can play Flight Simulator in a VR if you want to right now. I bet that's awesome. I would like to try that. But for me, the peripheral that I am partial to is the NES Power Glove because it's so bad.
I've never used one. I've never used a Power Glove. Have you used one?
I have, yeah. The daycare that I went to as a small child had a Power Glove, and it was bad, and not in the good bad like that. Lucas says in The Wizard. Have you seen The Wizard?
I have seen The Wizard. Yes, that
Yeah,
would be a good movie for us to watch, also for video game movies,
yeah.
because it's a good movie. I think you actually, yeah, I think I saw it on your server thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, there's yeah, that's a great movie. The line where Lucas says, "I love the Power Glove. It's so bad," and he says it with such conviction because this is like early '90s, so bad is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Bad
Um,
means good.
yeah, bad means good, and it gives him a huge advantage in playing video games. It doesn't in real life. It's actually awful. It doesn't really do much. It's cool technologically because you could do stuff with the fingers, like you could like map them to buttons. But the problem was the NES only has 2 buttons. So like what are you what are you doing with this massive Power Glove? It's got a whole like keypad for typing stuff. Typing what? It's like for loading presets
I think
for your game, for all of your game.
I think we need a PC Power Glove. I think that's what you're telling me right now.
PC Power Glove would be pretty cool.
Because it's got everything for PC. You can do a little
Yeah.
PC Power Glove. I think you can make it work, Tyler.
I bet somebody's I bet there's something out there. But there's a solution that you can rig up a Power Glove.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. So the last question that we got today is a good one. This is a really good one. This is from Dave in the Discord. And it's that time of year where the big game dominates an entire weekend. We need each of you to draft video game characters for 1, your starting quarterback, 2, your blimp camera operator, 3, your halftime performer, and 4, who hosts the after party.
All right. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
We can just go one. We'll go
Okay.
like their
We'll go back
quarterbacks
and forth.
together.
Yeah. Okay.
My quarterback I chose was Master Chief. Great leader.
Yeah.
He's
And
a
you
great
know that he
quarterback.
can throw that football like just
Oh
out of
yeah.
the stadium.
The way he throws like stuff in the Halo games, he's good. He's fine.
Yeah.
You do that. Yeah.
I think you're right. That's a good call on the leadership bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I picked Shepard from Mass Effect because I think she is a
Ooh.
great leader and would make an excellent quarterback in a leadership position on the team.
Mm-hmm. What about Rex? Not Rex. Shepard.
Rex Shepard.
All right, my blimp camera.
Rex is probably a good like defensive.
Oh yeah, defensive
person.
lineman. You know, really, just I think Rex is a lineman, regardless of where they are. They're just offensive or defensive linemen.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
just
Rex is.
large. I don't know very much about football.
Also, big thank you to Dave to not making us draft every position, all 11 positions on the football field, because that would be a bummer. All right, my blimp camera operator. Some would say the original camera operator, and that is Lakitu from Mario, because he does such a good job in Mario 64. I'd say that sarcastically.
Hey, was one of the first games to have that problem.
It was a decent camera though too. It was like it tried its best. It did its best for what it could. But yeah, Lakitu is my blimp camera operator. He's already up in the sky anyway. He can monitor the blimp from the outside. He can take all those shots. He's good. He's good at this. That's mine.
Okay, I picked Chell from Portal, the main character from Portal, because of that line where Gladys says, she says something like, "You're as graceful as a bald eagle, floating majestically across the sky," and then it's like ... piloting a blimp or something like that, where it's like for a second it sounds like she's complimenting you, and then she's not. So Chell pilots the blimp.
I love it. I'm all about it. Okay, my halftime performer. I'm pretty proud of this when I grabbed it. Parappa the Rapper is my halftime performer.
That's a good choice.
It's good. He's a showman, natural showman. Got lots of different. Because if I recall, in the game Parappa the Rapper, it kind of jumps like genres a little bit of songs too, right? Like you're rapping over things that aren't like normally like rapping, so it's got a little bit for everybody. That's what I like.
You gotta believe.
What about you?
Halftime performer. I cheated and I have two. I picked two. Either Yuna from Final Fantasy X-2, because she's an actual pop star in that game, which is kind of strange, but also I think not. But we don't need to dive into that right now. But my other choice is the crew from Guitar Hero. What's his name? Axel Steele, Judy Nails, the band from Guitar Hero, because they can play any song.
I love that. That's a really good answer.
And they play cover versions.
Dude, that's a really good answer. I'm all about that. Nice.
So, yeah. What about hosting the after party?
I have kind of a weird one. It's Jack from Jackbox is hosting the after party.
That's a good choice.
I like his voice. I like the voice. The person that like plays Jack is a good job, and I think they'd host a good after party.
Yeah. My choice is Mario, because we've played many Mario parties. We've been to many a Mario party, and he throws a good bash.
Yeah, it's the Mario party. I think that's really good. I think I'm pretty happy with both our lists. I feel like they're really strong. So thank you, Dave, for your question. But now it's kind of a shorter episode today. I want to mention this up top too. I'm going to preface this with I'm fine. I've had a family thing come up. So next week we will have a remastered episode. I'm just going to say that to everyone right now. So you know that next week will be remastered. I've had a thing come up. Everything's fine, but I will not be here. So with that though, Tyler, what you been playing?
You know it. You know I've been playing Persona 3 Reload. I love it. So far, so good. Really loving it. I think the original Persona 3 has aged pretty well. I mean, mechanically and stuff like that. There are some things that kind of feel a little old about it. So I wouldn't say that it like needed a remake, but bringing it up to the standards that Persona 5 laid out, with just how cool that game is, how cool it is just to play that game. They did it for Persona 3, and it's great. I'm like 5 or 6 hours in, and I am loving it. And I would love to see them do something similar for Persona 4. I know we got Persona 4 Golden on PC, and that's kind of like it's an enhanced remake with like some extra content from the original Persona 4. So maybe it doesn't really need the full-on remake like Reload, but Reload is great. I'm having a good time. That's kind of all I've been playing this week. So yeah, what about you? What have you been playing?
I actually had like a really slow start to the week where I wasn't playing a lot of games at all. And now I've been hitting Spider-Man pretty hard. So I am in Act 3 of Spider-Man. I just beat Vulture and Electro. So I'm like, I think I'm getting kind of close to the end. It seems like it's Act 3, so I am close to the end. But
it seems like it's starting to wrap up.
It seems like it's starting, like I just beat those two. Now there's like 4 more left. So it's like a whole thing. And I'm like excited to keep playing it. I like the game. I don't think I'm gonna like 100% complete the game. I like the story the most. Like this is like, it feels like a really well thought out comic book story, and I'm super into it because it starts off. This is kind of spoilery, I guess. So if you want to turn it off or whatever, or skip forward like a minute, that's fine. But you start off like thinking about like you're hunting the demons essentially, and then that really only leads into like one confrontation, and you're like, oh, I solved it, and then the big confrontation starts like right afterwards, like a really big reveal, and it just feels super comic book, like that level of comic book immediacy is there where you're like the city's falling apart and I have to save it, and that's really cool. And I just I'm not really a big fan of these like challenges and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah,
doing
the
some of
Taskmaster
them.
stuff is like not very fun.
Yeah, I'm doing some of them for the tokens because I want to get new suits, which is
Mhm.
actually going to be my question for you, Tyler. I didn't tell you this ahead of time. I should have told you. I should have prepared you. Did you have a favorite suit in Spider-Man 1?
Ooh, I think the suit I wore the most was either the suit that's like Tom Holland's suit in Spider-Man: Homecoming, but
Mm-hmm.
also the Sam Raimi suit from the Tobey Maguire movies is in there, and I think they gave it away for free too. I want to say it came out like a few weeks after the game came out on PS4 originally. And they just gave everybody the Tobey Maguire suit. Um, I I wore that one a lot, but I think I stuck to mostly with the Tom Holland one. That's one of my favorites. What about you?
Okay, I'm using the suit that they like remake after it gets like torn up. Still,
Mm.
I haven't changed suits at all, really.
Oh yeah,
But I was like looking at these ones that have utility to them because they have the Iron Spider suit, the one that Tony Stark makes for you, where the legs come out the back, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's really cool. And so, but the problem is I don't have enough tokens. So when I make a choice, I'm like, I really got to commit to this. There's another one too that blocks all bullets but sniper bullets and reflects them back to enemies, which seems really strong.
Hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, I gotta like figure out what suit I want to wear. But I'm loving it so much. Like I'm really enjoying it. The story is great, and it's making me excited to play the stories of like the other games too.
Yeah,
If the
the
stories are
Miles
just as good.
Miles Morales game is super good. It's a lot shorter, but it's still, I mean, it's the same quality level. And then Spider-Man 2 is like more of that. I am a little bummed in Spider-Man 2, the way the suits work. You still unlock them with tokens and stuff, but they don't do like in the original Spider-Man, when you buy a suit, you get like a new power that comes with it. And you can mix and
Mhm.
match the powers. Like you don't have to wear a suit that you don't like just because you like the power for it, but you do have to unlock the suit to get the power. Spider-Man 2 does not have that system. So as far as I know, the suits are all just cosmetic, uh,
Oh,
which is kind of a bummer because they take tokens and like currency to unlock. So so it's like you sort of have to choose between looking cool or spending that on like gameplay things, which is like kind of a bummer. But I
yeah,
could be
that is
wrong.
kind of boring.
Maybe somebody's like yelling at their screen in their car or something right now, being like, "No, the suits all do different stuff. They're way better in two." I don't know, but they sort of take away uh, that ultimate ability thing that sort of you get in the first game, which I think is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I like the ultimate ability. It's also saved me so many times. The one that just refills your focus meter. That's the one I
Yeah.
keep using because I'm like, this just saves me in fights, so it's
Yeah.
worth it.
That one or the Web Blossom one, which is like the first one they give you, is also really, really strong because where you just like throws webs out around him and like just every bad guy around you like is defeated instantly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't even tried that one yet. Okay, I'll try those ones then. I'll look at the ultimate
Yeah.
powers
That
then.
one's a good if you're like, oh no, I'm gonna die, like the same way you would like to get your meter back up so you can heal. You could just click your sticks and is everything everybody they don't die because Spider-Man doesn't kill anybody, but
No,
they are defeated.
they
Sometimes they
don't.
fly off the building
I
and
was
then
just about to say
they
that.
fly off the building, but then if you like can catch it from the right angle, they I they like webs come out of them and then they stick to the wall. They don't fall off the
Oh, they
building. They
don't
like yeah,
die.
they don't die. They like fly out and then I don't know, science Peter
There's like
has
a
webs that keep
secret.
them. Yeah.
There's a secret Peter power that he has that is just always unlocked. Where like when they fall off the building, a web robotic thing sticks him to the wall to make him safe. That's what it is. It's
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
be it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally.
So Peter never kills anybody as far as we
No,
know. But people do fly off the buildings
they fly off the buildings
and then I don't
plenty
know
of
how they
times.
get down from being stuck to the side of a building, but I guess that's a
Yeah,
problem for someone else.
that's the fire department's problem, I think. But yeah, I love Spider-Man. I'm really enjoying it, and so I'm hoping to beat it this week. But with that, so next week we'll have a remastered episode because I'm out of town, and then hopefully a week after that we got some guests lined up that I'm excited
Ooh.
about. So anyway, if you want to email us, you can do codexhistorypodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to our website codexpodcast.net. That's got all of our links on there. So you can go ahead and check out our Discord, you can check out our Trello board, send us an email, all that stuff. We also have an Instagram. It's Codex History Podcast on Instagram. And with that, Tyler, do you want to say goodbye to everybody for the day?
Goodbye, everybody.